Welcome to RV Squared. I'm Steve Vance. Today's video is going to discuss TPMS systems, that's tire pressure monitoring systems. I'm going to show you the components and how to take care of them and some things to watch for, so stick around. Now this particular TPMS system is called Pressure Pro, and these use independent external sensors that screw right onto the valve stems of your tires. And a couple factors to remember is that these are battery powered. This particular model is actually sealed. So after a while, in this case, about 5 years of use, the batteries start to fatigue. And when they fatigue, you'll start getting dropped signals, and you'll see that your tire pressure is not registering up on the dash very well. So they're not real expensive. I end up replacing all of mine. I think they're right around, I want to say they're about $45 a piece. A real nice gentleman up in Wyoming sells these. I believe it's L&S Safety, and I will drop his link below in the description, and you can pick up a whole new set from him. And there's a little bit of a procedure. It's not really difficult. You have to go through the diagnostic panel and repair this actual sensor to the dash. It's just a matter of going around and putting them on one at a time and then recognizing them on the dash. And it does take a little bit of time, but it's a pretty straightforward and easy process. One of the things I want to discuss of particular importance is these have a bit of a centrifugal weight to them. So the problem is that if you put these Pressure Pro sensors on the end of a valve stem extension for the inside dual, it puts a lot of centrifugal weight on that valve stem extension, and there have been problems with that joint fatiguing to the point where it'll leak. I had that same problem, and I went through quite a long process to get the parts to do that whole repair. I replaced the valve stems themselves, and I got the official valve stem extensions from Alcoa, and I also went through a lot of pain to get the right grommets. These have rubber stabilizers for the inside dual valve stem. The extension goes through that grommet, and then the grommet snaps right into this hole. The problem is these chromed aluminum rims have an odd-sized hole compared to the model number. So I had to go up to the 2.7 inch, which is the biggest one that Haltec makes for Alcoa. And so once I got that stabilizer, all things were good. I sent the other ones back. The standard ones that are called out for this rim are 2.6 inch. That's too loose. And so you'll actually have to silicone it in there if you can. I tried it, and it just was a loose fit. It wasn't good. Once I got these 2.7 inches, it snapped in really snug. It's not going anywhere. And the important part is that now the tire pressure sensor sits right on the edge of that rubber grommet, and it's not going to cause any fatigue whatsoever because it's not going to vibrate a bit. It's actually very hard to actually unscrew. But the good news is with that valve stem extension is I can get to that TPMS sensor and unscrew it if I ever need to air up or air down my tires. Without that extension, it's a real pain because that TPMS sensor is back behind those holes, and you actually have to get behind the dual, get really dirty, get your hand in there, and unfortunately 9 times out of 10 you'll end up dropping that sensor on the ground and you'll be crawling around trying to find it. So the valve stem extension makes life a lot easier. So that is the Pressure Pro sensor. I bought an extra 4 for my tow vehicle, and you'll see here I label them. RR, LF for left front, LR for left rear, and RR for right rear. And that makes putting them back on a piece of cake. You don't want to mix these up, obviously, because once they reconnect to your dash up front, you'll have all sorts of different readings for different tires, and you won't know which one's got the problem. The reason why I don't want to do this today, I don't want to unscrew one of these sensors today, because what happens is once you unscrew it and let it sit for a while, it'll reset the sensor in terms of temperature and set pressure. And the thing about it is I've already driven the coach today, and so my pressure on my tires is already up a little bit. If I were to unscrew that and show you how to repair that sensor to my dash, it's going to set that new level. So the point is when you do these for the first time, you want to do them with your tire pressures set exactly where you want them to be. That's your new reference point, and they should be cool or at ambient temperature so that you haven't driven it around and gotten an increased tire pressure. So you want to get them at rest. You want to top off all your tires to the correct pressure. Then you want to go through that sequence of connecting these pressure sensors on, and that'll reset both the target temperature and the target pressure. And that way the sensor will know the high point and the low point and give you an alarm correctly. If you don't put it on there correctly at the right temperature or the right pressure, you're going to have false alarm readings. Okay, here's a little bonus for today. So since my tires were not exactly where I needed them to be, and I had those valve stems replaced here a couple weeks ago to make them all solid, pure Alcoa, brand new stems, as well as the stabilizers, I don't think the targets were set correctly. So you got a bonus today. You get to see how to reset your sensors, whether you're changing them, you know, if your batteries go bad, you got to replace that whole sensor, or you just want to recalibrate them. I've done a pressure check around all 8 of my tires, and I don't really like the backs being down at 113. So I'm going to put my drive up to 120. My tags are dead on at 80, and my fronts are dead on at 115. So that's where I need to be. But in order to inflate these tires, you've got to have the engine running, okay? And you're also going to throw on the air doubler. And the air doubler, in case you don't know, is in this back rear compartment, and it's this switch right here. This switch is actually a valve, right? And it runs up to high pressure. What that does is that takes the onboard air compressor on the engine and it turns that into a high pressure, low volume air system. Otherwise, that air system's gonna have a hard time inflating these big duals, okay? So I'm gonna fire the rig up and I'm gonna get these rear drive tires pumped up to 120. I might as well get a head start on the game here. So since I have all the sensors off, I'm actually going to recalibrate every single one of them. Takes a little bit of extra effort, but trust me, it's worth it in the long run. All 8 of my sensors are now offline. So I just like to go around the rig in order and connect them back. So you just start one at a time. You're going to press the front left, and then I'm going to go out and screw that back on. Now if you want, you can have a partner help you out. Take a radio, put your phone on, and then have them screw them on so you're not going back and forth and back and forth. But I have to tell you, you've got to do this one at a time. See, it's been 30 seconds and we're already up and running on the left front. It's at 120 pounds at 60 degrees. All right, let's get the right front done. Put it on the cursor, press it. Just about the time I get up here, it's ready to go. All right, now I'm happy. All of them all lit up, all 8. Let's go to the info screen. Look at that. 120 across the front, 123 across the back, and 82 across the rear. That is about as good as you're gonna get, folks. I like it a lot. Let's go to the diagnostic screen. Do not push in on that cursor when you're on this screen. If you do, you'll erase that pairing. 120, 60 degrees, the target's set at 120. The strength meter is 66. Strength meter is 85 at 120 and 60 degrees. I love it. 124 and 60 degrees on the left outer dual. Left inner dual, 124 over 60, and its strength meter is 100, which is good and strong. That's because the pickup is in the back of the coach. 120 with 60, 124 is the target. And my tag left, 82 over 60. Strength meter is 88. And last but not least, right tag, 82 over 60. It's perfect. So there you go. I'm happy I got that all dialed in. So let's get the drive screen back where it needs to be and that's basically it. So hope you have safe travels. Enjoy.